Hi, David here, One Up Gaming. Gonna have a quick go through this week's podcast, which is the One Up Gaming podcast, episode 340. And did I say David? Yeah, I think I did. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Anyway, the skinny of it all is, hopefully, as of next week, we might have a guest on the show every few weeks. So see how that pans out. Not going to name any names or anything, just in case things don't happen. If you want to win this t-shirt, the Dead Space one with our logo on, which was being hand drawn by one of our guys, and got it nicely printed up on t-shirts, just go onto any of our YouTube videos, subscribe, and write the word Dead Space in the comments, and then we'll go through them all and see if anyone gets a chance to win this fine looking t-shirt. I'd just like to say that we've got a few more reviewers on the team now. So, like always, 3 or 4 come in, 3 or 4 leave. You know, it's just a never-ending sort of cycle of stuff. Don't know if any of you guys are aware. I actually fund everything. I don't get any money from any sponsors or anything. So anything that happens, it's all my money, which is really annoying because just the cost of living nowadays is so expensive. It's really, really expensive. But yeah, so that is it. So episode 340 of the One Up Game podcast. Please go to our website, oneupgaming.co.uk. A few new reviews are written up there. Please go to our YouTube channel and just search One Up Gaming. It's got the, I don't know if you can see the logo there. It's got that logo as the thing. It's like a white background, black logo with red round it. Yeah, subscribe and comment and like and all that stuff. We do have our first 100 podcasts available with our old logo on, and that one, £1 of each sale will go to the Child's Play charity, which is pretty cool. And as always, we are sponsored by the Games Inspired Music album. Just search for that, like Spotify, Amazon, anywhere, even iTunes, and 20% of each sale will go to the Child's Play charity. So let's get straight into the games we've been playing this week.
Hello Andy, this is Colin. I won't be able to get in tonight. I'm sweating like a pig.
So, still David, still One Up Gaming. Got my John Hare t-shirt on now. Gonna have to get John Hare on the show again. I've not spoken to him in it seems like a year now. But anyway, we'll go into the games we've been playing. Episode 340. First up, No Longer Home. And this one is, it's, how do you put it? It's like those, like, it does have a gameplay elements. It does have a walking around the 3D environment, but it's very much reading a lot of stuff that's on the thing, selecting some phrases, comments and some replies and questions, things like that. And it's just a story about growing up and moving away and losing friends and family and things like that. It was very boring to me. For me, it was very boring. Other people might get right into it, might really enjoy the game. Unfortunately for me, it just didn't click, and I just turned it off. It was quite slow. Next up, we'll talk about the Night Witch, and this one, I'm so sorry, but I might say this wrong. I believe this one is a 2D side-scrolling sort of shooter, and you're like a flying little witch with a really big sprite. It looks nice, but the problem is with really big sprites, you're a really big enemy that a target that enemies can hit. So yes, it might look nice in screenshots and stuff, but when you're actually playing the game, it kind of defeats the object. You want a smaller sprite character to make it a lot harder to be hit. But it played nice, it looks nice, the weapons are nice, some of the graphics on the backgrounds are really nice, really, and it's just a £10-15 sort of game. It's just a really little budget game, but it's really good. The next game, and again I'm going to get this so wrong, I do apologise to Team 17 who I think published it. Thymesia? I'll go with that one, Thymesia. And it's a Dark Souls sort of clone. It's on a budget, I would ever guess, so it's quite a small sort of looking game. It looks nice, it just doesn't have the detail of some of these other Dark Souls and Elden Ring sort of games, but it's a really good little game. I enjoyed it, and when I was playing it I got right into it. I played for a while and I turned it off and replayed it again, and yeah, it's a good working game. The mechanics are there, the graphics look nice. It doesn't have that hook that the Dark Souls sort of games do. Well, From Software sort of games. But if you see it cheap, I'd recommend it. It's a nice little game to see if you can enjoy it. Next up, Ridge Racer 2 on the PSP. Now this was played through the PlayStation Now, or whatever it's called, subscription. And it's like played from the PS Vita emulator on the PlayStation 5, which is really weird. And on the PSP, on that little tiny screen, it looked crisp, clear, amazing. And then all of a sudden you play it on a PlayStation 5 on a big 65-inch screen. It looks so blurry and blown up and pixelated. It still plays nice, it's still fast, it's still got really good music, and it's still a good game. It's just not what you remember. Your mind plays tricks when you're playing these old sort of games. You think it's going to be amazing, you think, that looks a lot worse than I remember. But anyway, good little game. If you got the subscription, give it a go. If not, I wouldn't buy it. Now the next one, the new rebooted Saints Row, and I heard so many negative press reviews, so many negative YouTube videos about this game. I really enjoyed it. It's not the best graphically expansive sort of game, but it's fun. And isn't that what we play games for? Just for a bit of fun, a bit of mindless, stupid escapism. It's just a laugh. And these sort of games, they're getting too few. You know, all these games are like proper realistic, grindy sort of games, and I just want a bit of fun in my life. People getting blown up and shot, and it's just stupid. I love it.
Guys, I was shot.
Your friends deserve better.
You really think you have what it takes to bring me in?
You deserve better, but only you can choose to adapt to what life throws your way.
You called for a ride? Good call. Let's get that money. We're starting a criminal empire. And now it's time for us to reap the benefits. I come for your crown.
Yeah, don't try to figure it out.
Yeah, point taken.
We're really good at what we do. We call ourselves the Saints.
So next up, it's a double whammy, again on the PlayStation now. Disney Pixar Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. Now this is the PS1 game, and was it made by Traveller's Tales? I think. But anyway, I don't know if it was or not, but I think it was. And this game looks stunning for the PS1. Even when you go into the first person mode, you got like a reflection of your face in the visor, and it's like a third person platform game, but when you go into like when you hold the button down to shoot, it goes into like a first person, and it's got loads of little bits. It's got like little car racer bits, little platform bits, little flying bits. It's amazing. The game is really good. Now, when I say that, the 25-30 years hasn't been kind. It doesn't look as good as it was. It's very pixelated, very small environments. The jumping's not as precise as they are nowadays, but it's still a really fun little game, and I'd recommend it. And the last sort of game that I played this week, Disney Pixar Toy Story 3, and this is the game that came out on the PS2. And I played like a few levels of this and I had to give up because I just didn't like the game. It looks nice, but it's more like a sort of Crash Bandicoot style game now. So the games I played, like you're on like a train and stuff, and you have to get from one carriage to the next few carriages, jumping around, and it's very narrow, very focused. It's just not as good as the full open world game of the original sort of game on the PS1. But what are you gonna do? So we have got Steam World Build. We've got a preview of that up on our website. Got a preview on our YouTube channel. We have reviews of Skylier Prophecy of Dungeon Alchemist. Got reviews up of them on the website and on our YouTube channel. And as always, please check out the Gran Turismo 7 series, the OEG Fantasy Football League with Football Manager 23 Mobile, and then when we get time, we'll try and do the Evercade series, the Star Trek Online series, Worst Games Ever series, and the Ridge Racer 6 series. So it's been me, David, from One Up Gaming, episode 340 of the games played this week. So we'll have a quick break and we'll go into this week's news. So thank you. See you in a few. Still David, still One Up Gaming, still episode 340 of the One Up Game podcast. So we will go into this week's news, and I mean there wasn't anything massively newsy about this week, so I'll just sort of go through a few little things that got my attention. So the first bit of news that we have this week is Chris Pine vents his Star Trek frustrations. It feels like it's cursed. So it looks like Chris Pine is just as clueless and frustrated with what's happening about the next Star Trek film as we are. The actor plays James T. Kirk in the rebooted franchise. He hasn't heard any news about the long-delayed Star Trek 4. I don't know anything. In Star Trek land, the actors are usually the last people to find out anything. I know costume designers that have read scripts before actors. In February 2022. Yeah, Zachary Quinto, I haven't heard of him in a while. Simon Pegg. Not aware of them moving forward with Star Trek 4. I would say it's frustrating. Pine said about they kept out of the loop. It doesn't really foster the greatest sense of partnership, but it's how it's always been. I love the character, I love the people, I love the franchise, but to try and change the system in which things are created, I just can't do it. I don't have the energy. So yeah, so it looks as though it was set for a theatre release, theatrical release, December 22, 2023. That's not going to happen now. With Matt Shackman attached to the movie. Is he directing it, I guess? But Shackman has left the project to film Marvel's Fantastic Four reboot. Paramount's removed Star Trek 4 from its upcoming film slate altogether. The last installment with 344 million worldwide. It's not bad. But yeah, so what do you guys think? Do you guys miss the Star Trek-y sort of stuff, or do you think it's just one that is... I don't know, I think it's been going that long now. I don't know if it'd be an idea just to chop it and start again with an all-new original cast of people again. But I don't know, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a very, very, very long time. Anyway, Mark Laidlaw on publishing Half-Life 3's plot as fanfiction, I was deranged. Half-Life 2 Episode 3 may not be an official endeavour, but that doesn't mean series writer Mark Laidlaw hasn't pondered on the universe after Episode 2, however it seems to regret publishing his thoughts as an unofficial short story in an interview with... I was deranged. I was living on an island totally cut off from friends and creative community over the last couple of decades. I was completely out of touch and had nobody to talk me out of it. It just seemed like a fun thing to do until I did it. He published the episode 3 short story to his website in 2017. Unofficial tale arrived just off the heels of episode 2's anniversary, trying to get hype and money, and was told from the perspective of someone named Gertie Fremont, which mentions of Alex Vaughan. Apparent references to Gordon Freeman and Alex Vance. Just change names, right? No longer affiliated with the company publishing episode 3. Have come out of the other side a lot less embarrassed. I don't know. I didn't really know nothing about this fiasco. I don't know nothing about Half-Life-y stuff. I really think Half-Life 2 is massively overrated. I really do. But what are we going to do in this day and age? Are you guys expecting a Half-Life sort of like episode 3, or just an episode, or just like a oh god, yeah. I think we'll just move on to the next bit of news because my English and speaking has just collapsed and stopped. So it looks as though Meta's newest VR headset technology is set to hit shelves later this year, complete with some notable upgrades and a steeper price tag. A news report from The Verge revealed that the Meta Quest 3 headset will be at least twice as powerful as the previous iteration. The wearable tech will also be 2 times thinner and cost slightly more than Quest 2, which currently sits at a $400 price tag. One of the main draws of the new tech will be the ability to simulate mixed reality. Similar to the recently announced Quest Pro, Quest 3 will feature front-facing cameras that allow the device to pass through video of the real world. Headset can use this video to incorporate mixed reality, resulting in an experience that isn't as immersive as full-on virtual. I have no idea what any of this means. So in other words, they're just guessing. So will this be coming out end of this year? I don't know. But we'll see what happens, won't we? We will see what happens. Next bit of news isn't really news at all. Like a lot of these things, it's just people talking because it's nothing happening. But anyway, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Oh god, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. What a weird rolly name. Director wants to make Cal's saga a trilogy. So the director Stig Asmussen, oh god, wants to make Cal Kestis story a trilogy, meaning a third and final game could be coming from Respawn Entertainment in the future. Suggested that a third Star Wars Jedi game is likely if the upcoming Jedi Survivor performs well. Sequel discussions were happening even before Jedi Fallen Order was released in 2019. It's not fall then. I know what happened. Right, well, we were already talking about the second game. Frankly, we were talking beyond in these conversations that we were breaking this story with Lucasfilm. It's like, well, we're gonna with the second game. I always want to see this as a trilogy, blah blah blah. So yeah, it looks like they're trying to promote this and sell this as the next sort of game. So if this does well, it will be a trilogy of games. So what do you guys think? The next bit of news, again, isn't really news, it's just rubbish titty-tat thing. John Favreau hints that Salacious B, I have no idea who that is, or Salacious B Crumb, I have no idea, could return in The Mandalorian. Star Wars legend, legend, a bit too much there I think, may have survived the explosion that destroyed Jabba the Hutt's sail barrage in episode 6, episode 6, Return of the Jedi. According to the Mandalorian creator, he just wants to get another big name person in to do things. The Kowakian monkey lizard, Salacious B. Crumb, first appeared in the 1983 sci-fi movie as Jabba the Hutt's personal pet, an unofficial court jester. His cruel cackle, I have no idea who this person is, and it doesn't have a picture of him. So thank you for that, IGN. Yeah, I don't care. Mandalorian, great series, but I'm not a big Star Warsy fan. Going back to a proper gaming stuff now, and that is The Wolf Among Us 2 is being pushed to next year in an effort to avoid crunch. Today, Telltale Games has announced its long-awaited sequel to The Wolf Among Us is being pushed out of 2023 in an effort to avoid crunch and team burnout, as well as accommodate a move from Unreal Engine 4 to 5. Speaking to IGN, Telltale Games CEO Jamie Ottilie explained that the team made the choice for a number of reasons, primarily to avoid burnout and shipping an unfinished game. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know. I played the first game and it was good, but I got kind of lost in the story, and I'm not a big fantasy booky person, and some of the characters were just over my head. But it looks pretty cool. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'd rather have a finished game than a rushed game. But anyway, next up, Dune prequel series undergoing creative changes as it loses director and star. HBO Max's Dune prequel series Dune The Sisterhood has seen yet another internal change, losing both a director and one of its stars. Deadline first brought the news today. Star Shirley Henderson, who was set to play Tula Harkonnen, and Joan Reg, who was planned to direct the first 2 episodes, have both exited the series as it apparently undergoes creative changes, has entered a pre-scheduled hiatus. There are some creative changes being made to the production in an effort to create the best series possible to stay true to the source material. Yeah, of course they'll say that. They're not going to say, yeah, we fucked. Joan Renneck has completed his work in the series, and and a new director we brought on through mutual agreement. Moving to other projects to exiting the series, no longer playing. Cause I don't know who Chulala and like is. It's only the latest. No, I don't know. Yeah, what do you guys think? I loved the Dune movie that came out last year. That was mint. But you know, what do you guys think? Do you think this series is another thing worth watching, or should they just concentrate on big budget blockbustery movies again? But we will see what happens in the very near future. Anyway, Forspoken developer will be folded back into Square Enix. Forspoken developer Luminous Productions will be absorbed back into Square Enix to continue working on AAA games the company has announced. Forspoken wasn't very good, was it? The change will go into effect at the beginning of May. As of May 1st, a talented team will join Square Enix to deliver new, innovative gaming experiences to players across the globe. Between now and then, we remain effectively focused on Forspoken. We are currently working on the previously announced patch to address overall game performance. We will deliver an update soon, and the DLC in Tanta We Trust is on track for release this summer. Thank you again for your patience, blah blah blah. So, I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't that massively fan of the game. It looked basic and buggy, and the gameplay just wasn't there for me. But if you like it, enjoy it. Everyone enjoys something. So we'll go to the next bit of news, and that is Hitman developer IO Interactive is working on an online fantasy RPG. Are they still doing that 007 game? Are they doing the James Bond game? I think they are. Like fighting fantasy that let readers choose their own path. We're embarking on a new adventure, one that expands our creativity, our capabilities, and in some sense our identity. We are building a new world, a new IP, an online fantasy RPG. It's like a new thing they haven't done before. From the not even a screenshot, from the teaser picture I can see, I wonder if it's going to be like a multi-online game, like 3-4 players. But we'll see what happens. We will see. So moving on to the next bit of news. Again, it's not really news, it's just rubbish. Just because Mandalorian's coming out. The Mandalorian execs explain how Gina Carano's departure affected Season 3. Dave Filoni and Rick Famuyiwa, I apologise, I'm sorry. I've opened up about the importance of Cara Dune. Was that a name in Mandalorian? How her lingering presence has been handled in the wake of the actress Gina Carano's forced departure from the show. Cara was a big part of it and continues as a character to be part of the world. It had to be addressed in the creative, and Jon Favreau took the time to think about that, who directed episodes 1, 7 and 8 of the upcoming 3rd season of The Mandalorian. It was something that was discussed, as we knew it was going to have an impact on the show, but at the same time, what has been at the heart of the show are the two characters, Din Djarin and Grogu. I guess that Din person's the Mandalorian, I have no idea. The Grogu person's a little baby thing. So ultimately it felt like a servicing of that and around the Mandalorians. Importance of Pedro's Din, but also multiple characters fighting the screen. Yeah, I still think the 2nd season was really good as well. I did like The Mandalorian. I think it's a good little show. I've enjoyed it. It's the best Star Wars thing that I've seen ever. I think it's the best thing with a Star Wars name on. Oh god, pressing random buttons on my tablet now. But yeah, so the next bit of news that we've got: Amazon Studios boss confident Rings of Power will succeed despite a new Lord of the Rings films. Amazon Studios head Jennifer Salk is confident that the market is big enough for both The Rings of Power and the newly announced Lord of the Rings movies. Amazon owns the TV rights to J.R.R. Tolkien's work, and the studio released the first of 5 planned seasons for the Lord of the Rings last year. I think it was really good. I don't know if it was massively successful, but it looked amazing. Story was slow, but I do love the fact of these TV shows becoming a thing. So skipping on nicely, last bit of news I have got, and it looks as though Beyond Good and Evil 2 studio director reportedly out at Ubisoft. So it's undergoing a leadership shake-up, so it looks as though Ubisoft Montpellier staff were informed last week that their managing director was no longer with the company. I'm not even going to try that name. Had been absent from the role since the beginning of 2023, and no reason for his departure was given. It was at Ubisoft for nearly 2 decades. It's amazing. So yeah, will this Beyond Good and Evil 2 game finally ship? We don't know. We don't know, do we? So we will just go straight into the last top 40 gaming charts for this week. Once it loads up, there we go. So trying to get this done quick. So we have got the number 40, Red Dead Redemption 2, Lego Jurassic World, Mario Strikers Battle League Football, Gotham Knights, PGA Tour 2K23, number 35, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Wanted Dead, never heard of, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Lego Marvel Super Heroes, The Last of Us Part 1, number 30, Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Harry Potter Collection, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Wild Heart, number 25, Mario Tennis Aces, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, number 20 is Mario Party Superstars, NBA 2K23, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Tales of Symphonia Remastered, Rhythm Final Bar Line, number 15 Sonic Frontiers, Just Dance 23 Edition, Pokemon Scarlet, Dead Space, Pokemon Violet, number 10 Splatoon, number 9 Animal Crossing New Horizons, number 8 Nintendo Switch Sports, number 7 Grand Theft Auto 5, number 6 Minecraft, number 5 Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, number 4 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, number 3 God of War Ragnarok, number 2 FIFA 23, and at number 1 Hogwarts Legacy, and that's thanks to Games Press and the GFK Entertainment software charts or formats, so thank you for that. So that, my friends, is episode 340 of the One Up Gaming podcast with me, David, One Up Gaming. Please go to our website, oneupgaming.co.uk. Please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/OUG. You want to buy t-shirts, go to our website, online store, top right hand corner, buy whatever you want, nice designs. Please go to our Facebook, which is facebook.com/oneupgaming. YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, all that malark. Cool. Twitch, twitch.tv/OUG official. Our Twitter, which is just @OUG official. So send us any questions. And if you want to email us, it's contact@oneupgaming.co.uk. So that's a very quick fire round. And thank you all, David. One Up Gaming 340. Back next week. Goodbye.